Hey, the piano tuner's here. Hey, how are you doing? Come on in. Hello, lovely people in my computer. I'm trying to see what I'm doing here on another computer. I see Yessie's here first. I'm Tom Durante with Durante's House of Music. Let me put this up so I don't have to crouch down. I am Tom Durante with Durante's House of Music and Durante's Music Technical Services. Welcome to Durante's House of Music. I'm Tom Durante, as I said, the maestro, your guide to all things musical, from piano repair to music theory, music production, live performances, and anything in between. Please remember to hit that like and subscribe button. Thank you if you have already. Let's see what we can get into today. I told you yesterday on my live stream that I wanted to tune this piano into a well temperament. I think it is already. Yeah, it is. But it's time for a touch-up tuning. We're going to experiment with that. I need to go grab one more thing. Looks like the lighting looks pretty good. We need to get down into this piano. Well, I'll be right back. I had a little technical difficulties. My computer didn't want to connect to the internet with enough speed to get the live going. So I'm on my phone. So let's get it. Let me get another phone so I can tune this piano. All right, here we go. So I use an app to tune the piano. I've been trained by ear, and it just takes a lot longer. It's a lot more efficient to just use an app. And so I'm going to move everything off of the piano. I don't really have a need for this anymore. I was going to put my live chat up there, but since I can't do that, I was going to put my live chat up there. Well, we don't need to hear two things. Let's see. I don't need any of that plugged in. If you're in the chat, if you are going to watch, check it out. Come on, blow up my chat. It is 4:05. I don't know if I have Grok on here, do I? I may have to log into Grok to get our daily music history lesson. Today in music history, but we've got a journey ahead of us. I hope you've got some patience, because what we're getting into today is going to be a little dull for you. For me, it's what I do every day. Well, not every day, but every Saturday anyway. I tune pianos for a living when I'm not teaching. And so, this is what I do. It sounds a little boring to some people, but to me, that just sounds like money. Let's move you down a little bit so you can see what's going on. All right, I'm unfortunately going to have my back to you. Let's see if I can get you a little closer. You're going to be inevitably in the way, but that's okay. Now, I did actually just get done tuning 2 pianos today, so it's been a long day. I've done 3 before, so I can handle it. But here we go. Let's see. I can always detach and show you some things, but I'm going to show you my tools first. A customer once commented on the fact that, I'm a little disorganized. I don't have my tools. If I can't find it quickly, you're wasting time. Time is money, that sort of thing. So I invested in this lovely tool roll. It's really helped out. So I thank him for his honesty. This is my tuning wrench or lever, whatever you want to call it. I've got all kinds of stuff in here. We can go through and do a little what's what at some point. But right now, it's been a long day. I'm just ready to get tuning. Okay, I also have a backup tuning wrench. This is my original tuning wrench. It looks like it's about 100 years old, but that's just because I've used it a lot. Okay, so it's really only 10 years old. And I engraved it with my name somewhere. Where is it? I think it was on the end here. Yeah, it's worn off quite a bit. But I also engraved this one with my initials too. Hopefully you can see that. Alright, so the first step to tuning a piano is I gotta get my felt strip mute out. I have two of them. The color doesn't really mean anything. It's just the color of felt that they are. So one goes up here in the treble, one goes down here in the bass. Why don't you come with me for just a moment? Oh, dang it. My battery fell. You're gonna come with me and take a look inside the piano for a second. There we go. It's a good thing about being on my phone. So these here are the dampers. And so my red felt fits above the dampers here. Green felt, it doesn't fit above these dampers. So I can't mute here in an upright piano, but I can mute here, all the way up to here. So that's where this one's going. If that one's too thick, I have another one that fits a little bit better. Let's get this a little brighter. There you go. That looks better. So this is my childhood piano. This is the piano that I grew up playing since I was 7 years old. Maybe we got this when I was 8. I'm not 100% sure on that. We can consult my parents with that at some point. Let's see. Yeah, I think this will be all right. All right. So, like I said, I'm going to tune this into a well temperament, which we'll talk about a little bit as I go, because we've got at least 45 minutes. A couple other tools I need. My ruler. Okay? I'm not actually going to measure anything. I'm going to use this to insert my felt strip mute in between the keys and the strings. There are, in this area here, all the way up, there are 3 strings per note. And my felt is going to mute the outer 2. Okay, and if it goes in between each key, it's going to do the outer one here and the outer one here. And so that allows me to tune. Oh, you couldn't see any of that. Good thing I have a monitor up here. So I've got 3 strings per note, something like this. The felt strip is going to go in between 2 strings and mute the outer 2 of those. So I'll be just tuning 1 string at a time. And then when I'm ready, I pull it out and I tune the outer 2. And then down here, there are only 2. And so I can put it in between, and I have to skip them because it'll mute 1. I'll skip it, it'll mute 1 on here and leave 1 open. And then I have I have a felt mute. I also have a rubber mute. I'm going to use this one up here and this one down here, so I'll put these here. All right, let's get my tool bag out of the way. Now this is, full of all kinds of goodies. I never know what I'm going to need, so I kind of have a bunch of extra stuff just in case, because I never really know what I'm going to need until I get there. Let's plug this back in. So, I hope you got some patience. I hope you got nothing else to do. Look, nobody's in the chat, but there are a few people watching, so I hope you're watching. Oh, Amanda's in here. Your icon is about to tune a piano. Now, the classic joke. Let's get serious for a minute here and show you. Got a lovely painting, or not a painting, a lovely picture that my parents got me when I moved out of the house to Tallahassee. So let's get serious for a minute. There's a joke. It says, you can tune a piano, but you can't tune a fish. Well, it so turns out that there is a job. If you like canned tuna fish, somebody has to put that in there. It may be a machine, but at some point in history, there was a person who canned tuna fish. So you can indeed can tuna fish. Now that that's out of the way, let's get my mute in the piano. Now, I'm not sure. I haven't really looked. I know there's some other people doing videos of piano repairs and tuning and stuff like that. I don't know if anybody's ever live streamed a piano tuning before. And not to mention, I don't know if they've ever live streamed a piano tuning in a well temperament. I'm certain of that because I'm an enthusiast. I'm an enthusiast of old music. Ooh, this makes me very happy. And I'll tell you why. One of the pianos I tuned today, there were maybe 4 or 6, some even number of bass strings down here. So these are plain wire strings. These are just carbon steel, okay? They're very springy steel. It's called spring steel, in fact. This is the material that a spring is made of. And so down here, they wrap them with copper. That's why these look copper down here. And that's to add mass. Cue the whiteboard. Good thing I brought it. Like that. We'll get back into our music theory lessons next week. We're going to have some fun on the weekends. We'll find A. See where it is. I'm going to put my lever on A. While I finish what I'm doing, I still got to put this mute in up here, but I wanted to tell you about something. So there are three components of pitch. Okay? There is mass. There is length. And there is tension. Okay? So the mass is how thick a string is. Okay, so a thin string will be higher pitch. And a thick string will be lower pitch because of its mass. A length is just how long it is, the length of a string, right? That's pretty simple. So a longer string is going to be lower pitch. Is going to be higher pitch. Okay? And you can see this in a grand piano very well with just the shape of the piano. Okay? The shape of the piano is something like this. Okay, so the long strings, they actually cross over this way. We'll talk all about that at another point. And and they get really short. I'm going to use my ruler for measuring for once. I usually never use this for measuring. I'm going to measure real quick. 2 and 8/30 seconds. I'm going to call that 2 and 2/8. If I did my math right, or if I know how to read my ruler properly. 2 and 2/8 inch. Let's draw that up here. That is how long C8 is. And that's the highest note of the piano. Okay, I don't know what I did that for. C8 is exactly that long. Now, that's what we call the speaking length. This is an intense lesson already, and I haven't even started tuning. Lucas is in the chat. I said I wasn't going to be live today, but then I decided if I don't go live 6 days out of the week, you don't get your daily This Day in Music History. So here I am. So this right here is called the speaking length. Okay? And that, as it implies, is the part of the string that's vibrating and making a sound. There are parts after this, above this and below this. So below it, it goes down and it attaches to a pin, okay? And then above, it goes a little bit further and attaches to a tuning pin. And that's what I put my wrench on. And okay, so that's your speaking length. And then you have other lengths of string, and it's good that I used other colors. Now the tension is just me string up or down, right? And I'll experiment with a little bit of that and show you that. But let me finish putting my mute in so that I can get tuning here. So we're not here all night. Now the trouble, I have Grok on the phone that I am live streaming from. So I'm going to have to get to it on another device. Get to my daily music history. Today in music history with Durante's House of Music. Now today I met a really nice guy. I was tuning for him out in Lakewood Ranch, and we were talking the whole time. He never once asked me, hey, is this bothering you while you tune? The answer would have been no. I would have stopped him if it did. But the reason that it does not bother me when people are talking or there's noise happening is because I use what we call an ETD, an electronic tuning device. And I was trained to tune by ear, and I use the two of them in conjunction, my ear and the tuning device. And the tuning device, as you'll see, just makes this whole thing much more efficient, makes it go real smooth, and it takes a lot of the guesswork out. Because, especially as you're learning, now I'm pretty much done with this ruler, so I'm going to set that aside. Put it back where it goes, so I don't lose it. Sometimes I've misplaced it and I've got very afraid. It's essential to my operation. Where's my tuner? There it is. I'm still recovering. Again, this is the recovery podcast. Vlog, whatever you want to call it. Alright, this is not exactly a plug, but my tuner that I use is called the Verituner. They don't sponsor me. I don't think they ever will. But it's like a $700 tuning app on the phone. All right? So, you don't really need this unless you're a professional piano tuner. So, if I wanted to, I could save a person's tuning. And I don't even know, I don't want to look. I may have this one saved in here from a long time ago, but it doesn't matter. What this device does, measures every string, and it compensates because as you get higher, the pitch tends to go higher, up in pitch. As you go lower, the strings tend to go lower. Like the quality of the wire, the equilibrium of the string causes the pitch to appear higher and lower at those ranges. So this will compensate for it. This is another reason why it's much better than tuning by ear. So I'm going to hit start a new tuning. Now, if I was tuning for somebody who, didn't request anything, I didn't talk about a well-tempered tuning or anything like that, this is how I would start. I would hit done, and I would go, okay? You can change the pitch if you have a different requirement for pitch, like you need to tune to 442, or actually I noticed the only thing I thought was 442 was I know Japan and who knows, maybe China, they tune a little bit higher. It gives you a brighter tone. But I was in the band room with the band kids, and I noticed that the marimbas are tuned, and the vibraphone, I think the vibraphone is what I was looking at. The vibraphone has 443, I think, printed on it. So that's interesting. I wonder if they definitely fluctuate with temperature, so that probably has something to do with it. I don't know. But anyway, I'm going to come down here, click on equal. We're going to go, you can see I have a bunch of tunings. Just intonation, equal substitutes, modified mean tone, quasi-equal, regular mean tone, select historical, and well temperaments. You can see I have 46 well temperaments. And that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to try and pick one that's really, I think we're going to go with this one. It's really going to showcase what a well temperament is all about. Because 1732, that's the year that this was popularized and things like that. Usually if I'm going to do a well temperament for a customer, I'll pick one of these broadwood ones because they're a little bit later, and they're a little bit more pleasing to the 20th century ear, 21st century ear. They have all kinds of tunings. They're 40. Maybe we'll do a Kernberg. Kernberg 3, I think, is a really good one. So let's go for that one. I can always change it and come back and fix it. So we're going to go with the Kernberger 3 from 1779. This is something that Bach would have been playing. Okay, they may even have, let's just look in there real quick. They may even have the Bach well-tempered tuning. Let's see. Wickmeister, that's another good one. Ooh, that's an earlier one. See, the earlier I go, the more it will showcase a well temperament. Bellotti Young is a good one. I'm just looking to see if they have. Let's stick with my Kernberger here. I'm just looking and seeing if they have the Bach weld temper tuning, because there's a little known fact. So I hit done, and it's ready to go. I'm gonna set it right here if it wants to say, and that's how I start tuning. There's a little known fact that on the cover page of Bach's well-tempered clavier, there's a bunch of squiggles, things like that. And people just thought it was a decoration. And I went a little overboard here, but there are two squiggles. There's a squiggle like that, and then there's a squiggle like that. And so these, I don't know what it is, but those refer to the tunings of the fifths. And so this is actually an outline of how to tune Bach's weld temperament. Okay? Now I have an extra length down here. If it fits, I can put it down here in the bass. But it's gonna be, yeah, I don't want to push it. I don't want to break my strings. That would be very bad, because I don't have any extras. These you have to order custom. These I have, but those not so much. So I start here at A, where I don't know if you can see it. I don't think you can. That says 5 cents flat. I'm gonna pull it up, and if I was tuning for a customer, I would pull it a little bit sharp. I'm still going to pull it a little bit sharp, just like 1 or 2 cents, because as I pull the rest of these up, they're going to push on the soundboard and bring the pitch down. Now that's basically all I got to do. I take that needle on the dial and I make it, it should be right around 0. You know, the average person, other than Alex and I, the average person will not notice. Probably up to 3 to 5 cents. They would not notice if it's not perfectly in tune. You know, if they walk by and they see my dial and they're like, is that supposed to be 0? That's probably all they would notice. But if I tuned a whole piano 3 cents sharp, nobody would notice. The average person. Okay, I have had an occasion where I was tuning for a performance venue, and the pianist who was playing was there. And she obviously had a really good ear because it was not perfectly zeroed out, and she made me fix it. It was a long time ago, and that's the only time I've ever had anybody make me fix something that was a little bit off. Other than that, it's so far off when I get there. Okay. It's so far off when I get there that they're just happy that it's in tune. So now you can see, let me bring you in here. Let's see if I can take you with the battery and stuff. Let me take you in to see what I just did with my mute. I'm kind of glad I'm doing this live stream because I only want to do this thing once and let it live on the internet. Let's see. So I just put my rubber mute into, there it is. I just put my rubber mute in between 2 of those strings so that it's going to mute off and allow me just to have 1 string sounding. There we go. All right, so I'm going to try not to stop as much. I'll be talking. So now I just hear 1 string and bring it up. I'm trying to get this thing done here so I can relax for the evening. I'll take it out. Now you're going to hear 2 strings out of tune. They're pretty close, but I can. The reason I have this fancy lever is for a couple of things. It's very efficient. Okay, this is meant for a grand piano, so it would be like this. Okay, so it sits in the pin, and it puts my hand directly in the center of mass of the pin, and the same for being in an upright, does the same exact thing. So it's very efficient. It takes a lot less work than any other tuning wrench. I see some people use these obnoxious, like, I can't remember what they're called, but like you knock it and it momentum tunes and things like that. It's so hard to get that to tune it properly. And even just a regular tuning wrench, like the one I have, the reason I carry an extra one is because this doesn't always fit into a piano. Like here, it barely fits over there. Over here is fine, but sometimes I can't fit this into the piano because of the distance here. And so I have to use my other one. Okay, so I can turn the pin very efficiently, but there's also a technique I use called bending the pin. And so instead of a turning motion, a twisting of the pin, I'm actually bending the tuning pin. Okay, I gotta be careful. It's not very easy, but you could break a pin, which would be very bad. It would take a lot of time to redo it. But I turn it back, and if I get close, I can pull on it, pull it towards me, and then it gets it right where I want it. So I go up. I'm going to do one section at a time. I go up here, I'm going to go down here, and then I'm going to start here and finish that. I'm going to try and go kind of quick. It's not too far off. So let me cook for a minute. So either this piano was way out of tune, or this temperament that I'm tuning in is way different than the one that I had it in, which is probably more likely. So an equal temperament tuning kind of whitewashes all the sound you're hearing. And we'll do a little review of a book eventually called How Equal Temperament Ruined Harmony and Why You Should Care. Before the 1920s, every piano was tuned in a well temperament, and tuners just knew how to tune that way. I don't. There are certain ways you can learn to tune that way by ear, but I don't remember. They tried to teach us. They gave us a little cheat sheet so we could do it, but this is way easier. It's got it built in. But the benefit of a well-tempered tuning, it's not called well temperament because it sounds well, it's good, in other words of good, but it's a well temperament because of the way the notes are arranged. I don't know why it's called that, but basically when I get done here, you're going to be able to hear the difference between the keys for maybe the first time in your life. It's going to be a profound experience. This is why I'm doing this. And this is why I'm such a proponent of well temperaments. Equal temperament makes it so that C and C sharp and all the other keys, all 12 other keys, or 10 other keys, sound exactly alike. There's no difference between Chopin's Etude in C sharp minor and Toccata in Fugue in D minor. There's no difference between them. Okay, you could play the Chopin Etude in C major and you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. Okay, now there's a reason it was written in C sharp. There's a reason Bach wrote the Toccata in Fugue in D minor. Okay, and I'll pull it up here. I'll even post a link. There are certain lists online that show you the key characteristics of each key, and they are all unique. Majors and then the minors, the relative minors, kind of share qualities with their majors. Okay, so I've finished my middle. Let's hear what it sounds like. Ooh, so C major is a very pure sounding key. There's no beating. There's no nothing. Now you'll hear C sharp major, and it's going to sound like where. And that's how it's supposed to sound. D is going to be a little bit pure. D sharp, again, with some beating. Not as much. I wonder if these are in tune. that's why. That's a little flat. Oh, my vacuum is gonna clean. I'm gonna stop my vacuum. That's the last thing I want right now. Okay, so now I have to use my mute for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 notes. That's okay. I got time. How about you? So when I get done, I'll play a little bit of music. I'm very tired. I drove all over today. I was up in Clearwater Beach. Man, it was popping. Everybody was out at the beach. A lot of traffic. Like an hour and a half away from here. So I'm doing single string at a time now. Oh, what is this? So single string at a time. So now I can do one string and be done, one note and be done with it. So you're going to hear some unisons. Bring the pitch higher, and then I bring it to pitch. Okay. And I take my mute out, and you'll hear it. Ring, 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 ring. That's an out of tune string. And now it's nice and pure. So the groupings of 3 strings per note are referred to as unisons. So in this section I have not tuned my unisons yet, so these outer strings are out of tune. Okay, now these I'm tuning the unisons as I go. So hopefully if things line up, I won't have to redo this. I'll come and do unisons down here. I won't have to do these, I'll do unisons down here. And then I'll go down to the bass. So then this will all be done. These have a lot more tension, so wherever they wind up, it'll hopefully I won't have to redo anything. I'm going to stop talking as much and get my work done here. I'm starting to get hungry. Watching, feel free to throw some questions in the chat. I can multitask. Looks like everybody left though. Yeah, it's just me on there. Well, that's okay. I'm just gonna get my work done. I'm gonna play some music. I'll make some dinner. So, I always see how much I made in a day as blank, whatever. And, you know, in my research for starting up my YouTube channel, I see these videos, oh, how much I make in a day as a piano tuner. Okay, cool. I don't remember watching it, I don't remember what their number was, but I can tell you what I made today. And what I make on a busy day and what I make on a slow day. So, what I made today as a piano tuner. I tuned 2 pianos. One was a regular tuning, full tuning. And it didn't require any extra work, so it was just a standard tuning rate. And my rate, now keep in mind, I've been in business for 11 years. So I started at $80 for a tuning, which is a bargain basement deal. And every couple of years I would raise my price. And I was at 120 for a long time, I was at 140 for a long time, and right now I'm at 150. Oh boy. Now that pin was marked, so I didn't know why. Now I know why, because it's a little bit loose. I should fix that. So I charge $150 for a piano tuning. And an average piano tuning now takes me usually about 45 minutes, maybe an hour. So I'm sitting there talking. I think this one was a little longer today because I was sitting there talking with the guy. Great guy, I got to know him. Bring that down a little bit. And then the other, so essentially I make, let's just average it at $150 an hour, which is, I would say, a pretty good rate. I'm probably due to raise that. Maybe I'll do that in August with my anniversary of being open. It'll be 12 years in business. We'll probably go up to 160. Everything gets more expensive with time. I get better. Quality goes up. And you know, it's a sad thing, but a lot of the piano tuners are older. You know, I'm very young for a piano tuner. I'll be 36 in a couple weeks here. And I'm a young buck as far as the piano tuners are concerned. A lot of them are in their 70s, in their 80s. I just had a good friend of mine pass away. You know, he was a piano tuner in Clearwater, Mr. Ferdinand. And he owned a shop, he owned a store, he lived the life. I met Ferdinand when I was a student up in Chicago. After my first year, or actually, after my first year, or still during the end of my first year, because it was an 11-month program I did two 11-month programs. I did the basic curriculum and the advanced curriculum at the Chicago School for Piano Technology. Studied under Paul Ravenko Jones, who also passed away a number of years ago. These people have profound impacts on my life. Paul was an amazing tutor. And so in the basic curriculum, you learned repairs, you learned regulation, which is like, I say, like the tune-up, like a tune-up in your car. And you learn tuning, regulation, voicing, which is manipulating the hammers and such to make the piano sound how the customer wants, or how you think it should as a tech. And then I did the second year, which was all rebuilding. And I restrung a piano that was not finished from the year before, and that gave me a lot of good practice. I'm a very good stringer. And I rebuilt an entire piano. It was a 1919 Mason & Hamlin. I believe there are pictures up on my website of the process. So Paul helped me learn how to rebuild that piano from scratch. And we completely gutted it, took everything apart, sent off some things. The case got refinished, the hammers got redone. I did the dampers, I did the strings when the case came back. We put the plate went off to get refinished. We did the keys, we covered the keys, we did all the bushings, we did everything the piano needed. So at the time we were done, it was a brand new instrument, and it sounded amazing. And the customer was happy. And at the end of the day, that's really all that matters. So, in the summer of my final end of the first year that I was studying up in Chicago, they had the Piano Technicians Guild National Convention, and that was in Chicago. So I was like, hey, I live in Chicago, why don't I go? And as a student, I was an associate member, and I went and I learned so much. That was so much fun. Whatever trade you are in, and I tell this to my students because now I go to the teachers' conventions every year, and they're in Tampa, and I'm just an hour away from Tampa. So I love it. I tell my students, whatever field you are in, I'm sure there are nursing ones. My parents are nurses. There may be doctor conventions. There may be IT conventions. There are all kinds of conventions. It is the best place to network with people, get to know people. So I was walking around, and on your badges, you got your name and I think where you're from, which is how I saw that Ferdinand was from Tampa. Clearwater, I think, but I think it said Tampa. I said, oh, Tampa. I'm from around Tampa, and because Tampa's a huge area, and people don't know Bradenton. People know Sarasota, but people don't know Bradenton. It's a rather smaller town. It's big, but it's got a big population, and people know Lakewood Ranch. That's one of the largest, fastest growing cities in the country here. They're building houses so fast, and they're not fixing the roads before they do, so we got a lot of fun. But anyway, so I was like, oh, I'm from around Tampa, where, blah, blah, blah. We got to know each other, started talking. He said, hey, when you get done with school, look me up, I'll give you some work. And so I worked with him a little bit, not too much, but I actually have a friend who I trained to tune. Shout out to Nathan. And he worked a lot with Ferdinand. Nathan and I met at IMG. I was a teacher at IMG, and Nathan was, I think he was either substituting or doing some tutoring after school. And so I met him, and he played the piano, so I was like, oh, I got a piano, come and play. And he loved to play, and he was like, oh, I wanted to learn how to be a piano tuner. I was like, you're kidding, right? He goes, no, I love it, it's fascinating. I'm like, well, I am a piano tuner. And so I took him under my wing, I taught him the trade, and he's off on his own now. And he spent a year under my tutelage, and he is full-grown tuner now, doing his own thing, and it's so great. I help foster the future of the piano industry around here, and I'm not done yet, that's for sure. But Nathan continued to be a tuner full-time, and so he's doing his thing, and I decided that I needed some more steady income, because tuning pianos is not a steady income. This is why I just do it on Saturdays now. So I was like, I need an income, I need some benefits, healthcare, retirement. So I became a teacher, and I love it. No looking back. Between the two, I make a very healthy income, and I'm happy. All my bills are paid. I own a house. I own a Tesla. I love it. And I'm just living my best life. Alright, so I'm done now with this section where I have to use my mute, and I have to go one string at a time. So now I've got a felt mute up there. Remember, stay hydrated. So I can just go one string at a time. It's going to be a little faster. Once I get to the top, we're going to come down. And we're going to take out that mute. And we're going to take out this mute. We're going to turn the bass. Tune the bass. So there are essentially 3 segments here. Okay? This may be included in this. I consider the piano in thirds. So right now, if we think about it with the unison tunings and the single string tunings, maybe you think about it in 6. So I've got 1, this is 2, 3, 5, 4, 5, I usually think about it in thirds. So I'm not completely done with this. I'm about halfway done with this, because this is all done. This one, I'm almost done. single strings. This one has not been done. So I am roughly a third of the way done. This side goes a little quicker. With that felt mute in there, only doing one string at a time. It's so easy. So when I grew up, I started playing piano at 7 on this very instrument. We had a keyboard. First, I had a little Casio battery-powered keyboard that the family pitched in to get me when I was maybe 6 or 7. Probably Christmas that I turned 6, or that I was 6. I was turning 7 in April. And when I got that little battery-powered Casio, I learned how to play by ear, Love Me Tender, just the melody and stuff, and maybe I'm Dreaming of White Christmas, I don't remember what else, but Love Me Tender was the one that I remember. And so it was at that point my parents were like, oh, this kid has a knack for music. And so they set me up. One of my neighbors was taking lessons from this guy, Greg Rohr. And so they went over and talked to him and said, hey, this is the deal. The kid just learned a couple songs by ear. Can you come and see if he's got any talent, if he's going to be good at this, if we should do something with this. And so he came over, and at that point, I think I had gotten a bigger keyboard. So maybe like a 40 or 60 key electric piano keyboard thingy. And so Greg came by, and he brought his books and things like that. This would have been 1996. Gosh. And so he came by, and in my first lesson, I believe I went through 3 books. The basics were too basic for me. I just got it. I was like, all right, what's next? All right, what's next? All right, what's next? This is easy. And so Greg turned to my parents and said, you need to get this kid a piano. And so that's what they did. And so I got this piano. We went over, I wonder if it has a sticker in there. It might, I don't think it does. But this piano is from a store that is now closed. It's in downtown Bradenton, called Hullinger's Music. We went in there, we played all the pianos, and maybe you have a piano from Hullinger's. I've seen a few of them around, because I tune all over Bradenton, Sarasota. And so I've seen a few of them around. It was the music store in Bradenton. So that's where that was. A lot of fun. Greg worked there through his life when he was a kid. Alright, we're getting to the end here. Let's move on. So we're going to pull this mute out. I'm going to grab it. You see that? I think you can. I got my finger down in here. I'm going to pull on this, and it comes out. Let's take you over here so you can see. It's been a while since we went on a field trip. Come on then. Alright. So I just pulled that out. Let me show you what it looks like. Put a mute in there, but let me just show you what it looks like so I don't have to do this twice. So we come down here, we pull this out, and it comes out. Got it? Ooh, somebody else is watching. What up, Brian? Brian's in the chat. What is going on, Durant? That's an E at the end there, Durant-E. So I told people yesterday I wanted to tune a piano on a live stream. So I got my business shirt on. I just got home from tuning. So here I am, tuning a piano. And we were talking about well temperaments. And so this is now tuned in a well temperament. Okay, and it's going to sound a little bit different when I finish getting these unisons done. Okay. Any questions for me, Brian? I've been just sitting here yapping, talking to myself. to kind of sum up my little story there, music has been part of my life since I was a child. In elementary school, my teacher, what's her name? She's still around. I talked to her not too long ago to tell her I was a teacher. Oh, I'll think of it here in a minute. But my elementary school music teacher saw my talent. I was in the recorder group before school. And so she had me try and play some of the songs for our little plays and things like that. So it was a lot of fun. But music's always been something I've done all my life. Miss Fullerton. She's still around. So now I'm not looking at this. I'm using my ears now. So that's why it's kind of a mix. So I'm pulling this mute out. I hear the wonkiness of that. Because there's two strings open, that's fine. And I'm tuning it by ear. I was like, why is this taking so long? Oh no, did I already do it? Oh, I see. Either I skipped one, or it went out of tune. Throw some questions in the chat. This goes a lot quicker when somebody's talking. It can't just be me. I guess it can. It usually is. Now there's just a camera around. I told you I wanted to get back into my piano repairs videos. So here we go. Looks like, unless I figure out my computer, live streaming on my computer, I may just have to use my phone. I don't know if the antenna on my computer is good enough, I guess, to get the Wi-Fi. I actually tried plugging it in. That's why I wanted to use my computer. I tried putting some... Ah, see that? That popped out. That's why. Maybe that's what happened up there. tried having my computer plugged in to Ethernet, but it wasn't getting enough speed. Maybe I have to reset my little box out there again. When it works, it works. We're getting close. A couple more. And out comes the mute. Yeah, this is very heavily beating. And now we're going to continue down here. So I'm going to double check as I go. If I come and play this one, it's still got the mute on it. So I can see that it's right where it needs to be. I got to put the mute in here to double check it. It's right where it needs to be. And the unison sounds good. So I'm going to pull this. And now we got a unison in tune. Hopefully you can hear the difference between out of tune and in tune. The pitch is like warbly. So that's like the difference between when I get to A, it's 440. So 440 and 440.5 or something like that, you know. And so I'm moving it around. Ooh, what happened here? Which one? This one? Let's see. I forgot one. Time there, I didn't want that. I'm just cooking it up here. Can't think of anything else to talk about. Just letting you enjoy. I'm getting pretty tired. It's 8:30. What time did we start this thing? How long has this been going on? It's been over an hour. Wow. I've been doing some yapping. That's why it's taking a little longer. But we got maybe another 20 minutes or so. So luckily this is, so now we're 1/3 of the way done. We're all, half of the way done with this. So we're just finishing up the other half. We're almost halfway done. Now the piano is exactly halfway tuned right now. You can tell the name of the piano is printed near the middle. And so middle C is that one there. And I start tuning in A4, which is like middle A. Forgetting to check my pitch. That looked a little off. Let's see. Pretty close. Like I said, I know for sure there are some videos of people performing in a wild temperament. I'm fairly certain nobody has ever live streamed a whole tuning. I did see a video teaching you how to tune, which I think is a pretty bad idea. You are not going to learn how to tune a piano in a 1-hour video. You're just not, okay? As you can see, my beard is beautiful. The light looks really good, and maybe you can see that there's blue in the tips. I think you can. Okay, we need to bring this up. Since it's pretty close, I'm just bending. So that was me pushing it up, and then just gently pulling it back down. And I have to hit it hard afterwards to help it stay where it needs to stay. Stay where I put it. Now, before I take that mute out, I'm checking this one. Since I didn't really check these, they're like 1 or 2 cents flat. So if this is 1 or 2 cents flat, which it is, I'm going to leave it. If it's like 3 cents flat, I might fix it. Sitting here looking at this number, 440 is a measurement of hertz, and that's a frequency, right? So when we talked about waves, we talked about frequency. That is a sound wave, right? And so that's a waveform. And so the lower the frequency, let's erase some of this. The lower the frequency, the lower and bigger. I'll keep that if I can. Yeah, whatever. The lower the frequency, the lower and bigger the waveform. The higher the frequency, the smaller and shorter. So this is low, this is high. Okay, so 440, I don't know, I'm just approximating this, probably what it looks like, something like that. And cents, okay, you hear me talking about cents. That's how we measure a pitch as well. Okay, so there are 100 cents in between every half step. So that's 100 cents. So that means within an octave there's 1200. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay. That's flirting with 3 cents, so we're going to bring that up a little bit. Special in that it's the only instrument, probably one of the, maybe the organ, but one of the only instruments that stays in tune for such a long period of time. You don't have to tune this thing every time you play it. My harpsichord over there, it'll stay in tune, but I pretty much have to tune it every time. Maybe next Saturday, for our Saturday edition, we will do a harpsichord tuning. And I'll showcase, because that's way easier to tune. There's a lot less strings. In a harpsichord, there's only 1 string per note instead of 3. So I can showcase multiple tunings in the same amount of time it takes me just to do 1 tuning on this piano. The other thing that's notable about this piano is that this is a drop action. It's called a spinet. You can see the keys, this is the back of the keys and that sort of thing. Can you see that? Yeah, you can. So the hammers, ideally, the keys should go all the way back, and the hammers and the action, which is what this is called, should sit on top of the back of the keys. In a full-size piano, that's what happens. But this is a drop action. This is called a spinet. Okay? Now, these were popular for people who didn't want to shell out the money for a big piano. And I think the only reason that we have it, I should have had a full-size piano. We're not rich. We didn't have an endless supply of money. It would have been nice, that's for sure, but you got to earn what you got. And so we couldn't really afford to get a full-size piano. This is about all we could afford. And that's why it was invented. That's why it was developed. So, from what I heard from stories, just kind of an anecdote about the spinet piano, is this was developed to make you buy the next piano because it's such a underdeveloped piano. It's not a great piano, but it was perfect for little old me to learn to play. And play for about 10 years until I was about 17, and then 18. I went off to college. I stayed local here. I did my community college. I was not ready to move away from home yet. And I started playing on nicer pianos. And then 2 years of community college, I moved up to Tallahassee. I went to FSU, Florida State University. Go Seminoles. And I got my Yamaha piano, the digital piano that you've seen, the rest of this week. All right. Right here. That is the end of what we call the plain wire strings. Okay, those are just carbon steel strings. Who's in my chat? Throw it up in the chat. Give me some questions. I'm just yapping over here. I'm almost done with 2/3 of the piano. Now, for those of you just joining us, we're tuning. Ooh, I don't think I tuned that one. I don't think I tuned the mainstream. So we're tuning this piano. Maybe I did. Maybe I did. We're tuning this piano in a well temperament because it's going to sound very different. Now we can hear it. That sounds very pure. Okay, you may not notice it, but it's very pure. You may think that sounds flat, but that's actually where it's supposed to be. C major in a well temperament is described as a calm lake with no waves. Okay? Now when you hear C sharp, I don't know if you can hear that. Let's see if I can make you hear that. Where is it? Yeah. That maybe to you sounds flat, but that's where it's supposed to be. It's all in the thirds. That too has a little bit. That's very flat. F sharp is very blah, blah, blah. So the closer you are to the top of the circle of fifths, C, F, G, those are going to be your pure keys. And the further down you go, the more beating you get. So E is further down, B is further down, C sharp, A flat, D flat, C sharp, D flat are enharmonic, F sharp. Yeah, these have a lot of activity going on in the sound waves. Maybe you don't hear that. But hopefully you do. That's the whole point. When I play some songs, you're really going to hear the difference. I sure hope. Otherwise, I should have just sat on my chair and relaxed instead of doing this. I'm kidding. I do this for the future. This video will live on. And I remove my mute. Alright, we are 2/3 of the way done with the piano. Now, I need to move you probably. You should come over here. That's better. All right. So, pretty much I've been using my right hand. When I get to the bass, I switch to my left. Now to keep it efficient. I can do these two groups right here, these two strings and these two strings, while I have one mute in. And then I pull the mute out and immediately put it into the next group so I don't lose track of where I'm at. So once I lose track of where I'm at, I have to like count and look and see where I'm at. These are also in groups. There's a lower group and an upper group. Lower group, upper group. So there's little patterns you start to see. If you don't notice the patterns, that just looks like random whatever. quicker. They do have more tension on them, so it may drop the rest of the pitch on the piano. That's okay. It's all relative. It's all going to drop together. The piano goes out of tune altogether. Let's see. So if your piano at home hasn't been tuned for, I don't know, 10 years, I've seen it. You may not even notice. It probably sounds bad. Your unisons are where you really hear when your piano's out of tune. If your unisons are way out, like today, I never finished how much I made today. I'm so sorry. So I did a full tuning today, and the other tuning I did was just like a touch-up tuning, because I was really there. I was doing warranty service. A company called me up from Texas and said, hey, we got some pianos in your area, and we'd like to see if you could go out and fix them for us, and we'll pay you. So today in my piano tuning paycheck is a little bit different than standard. Let's do an example. Let's do a couple examples. So if I tune 4 pianos in a day at $150 each, that is $600. That's incredible. That makes me smile. That happens occasionally. Doesn't happen often. But a $600 day, that is great. For maybe 4 hours of work, plus driving. You know, if all 4 pianos are all in the same spot, and I didn't have to drive anywhere, that's great. Show up at 12:30, I'm done maybe by 5. So, you know, it takes a little bit. Where am I at? Almost lost my place. If I do 3 pianos in a day, that's 450, 450. That's not bad. Today I did 2. One was half of a tune. So I made $150 for my tuning. I charged $60. And what I did was I went through the whole piano and I just touched up the unisons because the piano was really close to in tune. So I just did the outer strings and I charged him $60. I feel like that was pretty fair. He had no complaints. And usually I play a little music afterwards, and the customer loves that, especially when they can't play. They're like, oh my god, how long have you been playing? I was like, oh, since I'm 7. So I made $210, and I still have to bill the piano company for the repair. Now, if I'm just doing a repair and I'm not doing a tuning, I'm losing my place. Okay, so I'm touching the strings, which you really shouldn't do, but I'm using the back of my finger, which has less oil, feeling where that vibration is, so I can make sure I'm in the right spot and make sure I'm on the right pin so I don't break something. So if I'm not tuning, I usually charge a $50 service fee just to show up, even if I don't do anything. And then if I do something, then it's going to be, $10 here, $20 here. If I have to do like 8 or 9 little somethings in the piano, I'm going to charge like $10 or $20 each. So that adds up pretty quick. So my repairs are pretty good, but I don't have to do them very often. A lot of times, if something's seriously wrong with the piano, I'll quote them for like a full big job repair. And sometimes those can be anywhere from $200 to $2,000. I got a big rebuild coming up. Actually, I have a bigger rebuild here that we'll talk about. That one behind me is an $8,000 job. I've been working on that for over a year. sometimes, it takes a lot of work and a lot of time, and between teaching, if I didn't teach, I could get them done a lot quicker, but teaching, I get home, I'm just so tired, I just want to go to sleep. Sometimes I do fall asleep. This live streaming has been keeping me awake longer, which is good. I get pretty productive here with all this. And I get to share my passion. So a typical tuning day can be anywhere from $150 for one tuning, anywhere to $600, sometimes more. Sometimes if I'm there tuning, I'm like, oh, you need some work in this thing. And I'll quote them for a job, and if they think it's worth it and they have the budget for it, they're like, all right, go ahead. I make $1,000 in a day. And then I gotta go do the work. Alright, we're getting real close here. These are the end of the double strings. So up there in the plain wire strings, you got 2 strings. In the bass, you start to get, I'm sorry, I don't know if I said 2 or 3. You got 3 strings up there. Down here, you got 2 strings. And then, when I finish these, we're going to get to the single strings. That's one big, thick string. Some of these strings will probably be the equivalent of an upright bass, a double bass, in thickness. That's about how low they are too. This, fun fact, the range of human hearing is 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz, otherwise known as 20 kilohertz. And this note here, I believe that note is 22 hertz. So it's just above the range of human hearing. It's pretty interesting. Let's finish these up real quick. Stop yapping for a minute. You can see if you can hear that lowest note. Now, remember we talked about overtones? Sometimes my tuner likes to jump up to another overtone. That's what just happened. I was going sharp, I was like, wait a minute, what's happening here? I'm going to leave alone. Hardly ever play those, and what we're going for, I'm not really going to be using those. So we have just finished a piano tuning. 90 minutes. Oh gosh, I was yapping a lot. Usually it doesn't take me that long. I don't know if that's how long it actually took. I know I had my live stream going before I got on, before I started tuning, so we'll see what happens. I don't know. Stefan Stuff. What's good, Diablo Stuff? Marvin, who's Stefan Stuff? Stefan Stuff. I don't know who that is. Durante. You came at the right time, folks. I just finished tuning this piano. So now we get to play. I'm going to put this over here. Whoa. So I can see your comments. Maybe I'll put the piano back together. So thank you very much for your business. That'll be $150, please. I can take cash, PayPal. I can send you Zelle, a link, or whatever, and you can pay me that way. It's been a pleasure working for you. And your tuning should probably last between 6 months and a year, you know, depending on how much you use it and depending on the environment that you keep your piano in. So you should keep your piano in approximately, humidity is the most important factor. So humidity affects the piano the most because a lot and it will absorb the humidity. So if it absorbs a lot of humidity and lets it go over time, it goes out of tune because of that back and forth action. So humidity is the most important. Now a piano is a lot like you. Bet you didn't know that. Piano likes it around 45% humidity. Ah, beautiful. Let me get my piano bench. My iPad was dead, so I charged it up a little bit. Hopefully it's still good. If not, I got a battery going on here. Let's see. Let's bring you over here. We're going to lower this thing down a bit. You're going to get a more intimate view because I don't want you staring at my blank walls. I do have some stuff on the walls. They're up over here. Oh, you can't see them. They're up over here. They're a little bit high. That's okay. I'll put my computer up here so there's nothing up here. And I do have some little decorations. Let's put some of those back up. I'm a proud American. This was made by one of my great aunts. This is a sponge from Tarpon Springs. This was a living creature at one time. This is pretty cool. Put that over there. Let's see. Like making a shadow. That's alright. And then I got some really cool little drums. You know, people like to put stuff on their pianos. Why not? I'm the same way. A little djembe, little Santana conga. And of course, every piano needs a working trebuchet. I'm going to hit my computer with this so I wouldn't have to move my computer. But you know, every piano should have a working trebuchet. That's what I always say. Oops. Anyway, maybe every piano doesn't need a working trebuchet, but this one does. So there you go. Now it's not so boring up here. I'm going to put my fancy tuning lever up here for good measure, just so you can see where we've been today. In case you weren't there when I didn't drop anything on the floor here. All right. What do I got in here? There's a lot of stuff in here. Let's go get my iPad. Alrighty, folks. Borrow this for a minute because my computer's definitely got enough juice, and all I'm using that for is so I can see your live chats. Nobody's in the chat. Nobody ever told me who Steph stuff was. Remember, friends, stay hydrated. Getting all my notifications. Let me focus here for a minute. I'm not on sleep. I'm on Do Not Disturb. All right. So let's get our piano music out. I'm right here where I want to be. Stay hydrated, friends. All right. So we're going to play a little bit of my favorite Beethoven. You come on over here. You like that view better? Does that view a little bit better? This is my first live stream at an acoustic piano. What do you think of that? My childhood piano. I love it. So, I'm going to play the Adagio Cantabile that I always play. Right? So, it's going to sound different. It's in A flat, which is a very beating key. I just spent over an hour tuning this piano, but to you, it may sound out of tune. Away we go. This music was up, but this is not what I was playing. This is the Bach. So we're going to be in the key of C major now. And it's going to go through some relative other chord progressions and things like that. Every choice of these composers is extremely deliberate. Beethoven, and especially Bach, were very deliberate with what they did. Beethoven would agonize over every single note. And that's why he's regarded in such a high esteem. So you heard some things there. Hopefully you can hear the quality of this tuning and how each key has a different characteristic. We'll pull that up in a minute. But I just want you to experience a little bit of this. So, key of C major. I see a F sharp diminished 7th chord in there. And probably the fanciest thing, F sharp diminished. Right, so B diminished, A minor, C sharp diminished. So we're going to get some interesting sonorities in this piece. We start off very pure. here. Let's see if I can bring this up. Oh, look at that. Hopefully you can see that. That is Beethoven's original manuscript for the Moonlight Sonata. I really hope you can see that. It looks like you can. This is what I'm talking about. That is Beethoven scratching out something and saying, no. This is what I meant. I mean, handwritten. It may not be the cleanest, but, oh, and look what's interesting here. Ooh, I like his bass clef. It's just a squiggle. His treble clef. He draws the key signature once. And then the rest of the piano manuscript doesn't have it. It's interesting. Is it the beginning? It must be the beginning. Look, scratched out. This is Beethoven's own handwriting. This is the master at work. Incredible. No. That's not what it is. No. Almost every page has that. Scribbles. Remember, look, he added onto the staff. It's really cool to study original scores. My student Wong exclusively played off of handwritten scores because he felt like he got the best experience and the most pure expression of what the composer was intending. Where is my other version of that? We'll do a couple of things here. Moonlight, is this it? There it is. Okay, so just so you can hear, this is going to be C sharp minor, yeah. Yep. Dang it, I keep doing that. I thought I got it right because of the other one. I haven't played this very much. As you can see, it's about, I want you to get the feel of that, right? The C sharp minor. Evocative, right? So I'm going to try and look something up here. Let's see if I can find this. If I can find my web browser. This is my old phone that I use for tuning. Let's see, is this literally coming up with it right here? Is this the last thing I Googled? What is this? What am I seeing here? What am I seeing? Nothing yet. It's a good reminder to stay hydrated. Nope, that's not it. Everybody's gone. It's just me. Hanging out with me. My favorite person. Musical key characteristics. Oh, back crack. Is that the one? Classical music. Let's see. Let's try this first one. Ledger note. That doesn't sound familiar, but let's see what we got. This might be right. All right. So C major. Completely pure. Simplicity and naivety. The key of children. Free of burden. Full of imagination. Powerful resolve. Earnestness. Can feel religious. C minor. Innocently happy for C major. Innocently sad. Lovesick. Declarations of love and lamenting lost love or unhappy relationships. It is languishing and full of longing. A soul in search of something different. Okay, this is in C sharp minor, which is the relative of E major. Despair, wailing, weeping, a passionate expression of sorrow and deep grief, full of penance and self-punishment. An intimate conversation with God about recognition of wrongdoing and atonement. Wow. There's some deepness to that, which you do not experience in a in an equal temperament. You do not experience that feeling. Let's see the end here. I'm at the last page, I think. Let's see. felt something there. All right. D flat major, which is the N harmonic equivalent. Oh, D flat major, excuse me. D flat major. Now, people usually equate major keys with happiness, although this one is described as grief and depression, rapture in sadness, a grimacing key of choking back tears. It is capable of a laugh or a smile to pacify those around. But the truth is in despair, fullness of tone, sonority, and euphony. Maybe like euphoria. Rapture in sadness. That is deep. No way, this D flat major right here, the next key. That's incredible. So he goes right from despair and wailing into grief and depression in a major key. Grief and depression. And it says, capable of a laugh or a smile to pacify those around you. This is incredibly deep. I hope you get this. D major. Triumphant, victorious war cries, screaming hallelujahs, rejoicing in conquering obstacles, war marches, holiday songs, invitations to join the winning team. D minor. Do I have that? Do I have that? Do I have that? Toccata and fugue in D minor. Oh, why don't I have that? I should go get that real quick. Toccata and fugue. I have to have that. Why don't I have that? What is this? I think this is violin music. Guitar music. Is that D major? This is D minor, isn't it? D minor is serious, pious, ruminating, melancholy, feminine, brooding, worries, contemplation of negativity. Let me just read the rest of these. D sharp minor, deep distress, existential angst, dealing with anxiety and existential terror. Deep distress, dark depression, the dark night of the soul, fear, hesitation, shuddering goosebumps, the language of ghosts. These are so deep. E flat major, cruel, hard, yet full of devotion. Love, devotion, intimacy, openness, honest communion, conversations with God. major. Quarrelsome, boisterous, incomplete pleasure, shouts of joy. Complete delight, yet bickering, short-fused, ready to fight. E minor. I hear something there. E minor, effeminate, amorous, restless. This key can carry grief, the mournfulness, restlessness, like a princess locked in a tower, longing for her rescuer and future lover. I'll turn off that face turning because it just keeps turning with me. I think it goes off my lips. What key is that? That's A minor. We'll get there. F major, furious, quick-tempered. Passing regret, complacence, controlled calmness over the readiness to explode, deeply angry, but composed and sociable still, religious sentiment. F minor. Obscure, plaintive, funeral, deepest depression, lament over death and loss, groans of misery, ready to expire, harrowing, melancholic. F sharp major, which is a very heavily beating key. That sounds really out of tune to your ears. Conquering difficulties, sighs of relief, triumph over evil, obstacles, hurdles, surmounting foes, and finally finding rest in victory. Brilliant clarity of thought and feeling. F sharp minor. I'm just going to go through these. Gloomy, passionate resentment, tearing at your hair and shirt, discontentment, long periods of lamenting and crying, still capable of fighting this feeling. G major. Serious, magnificent, fantasy, rustic, idyllic, poetic, lyrical, calm and satisfied, tenderness and gratitude, friendship and faith. It is a gentle key, full of peace. G minor, my favorite. Discontent, uneasiness, worry of the future, a failed plan, gnashing of teeth, concern over a failed plan, struggling with dislike and malcontent. A flat major. Death in a major key. Eternity, judgment, putrefaction, expansive viewpoints of a dark cosmos and existence. Ghosts, ghouls, goblins, and graveyards. Haunting and lingering. It's interesting how much dark and death is in a major key. A flat minor. suffocation of the heart, lamentations, lifelong struggles, a negative look at the experiences of life, competition, growth. A major, joyful, pastoral, declaration of love, innocent love, satisfaction with the current state of affairs, optimistic, belief in heaven and reuniting with lost loved ones, youthful and cheerful, trusting in the spirit of the divine. Alex I am still alive. You did not miss the stream. I've been going and I'm still going. And you, sir, are just in time. Feel free to rewatch the hour and a half that I spent tuning this piano and yapping. Reminder to stay hydrated, folks. Your body is 80% water, something like that. So you need to stay hydrated. Right now, I'm done tuning. This is a well temperament. I believe I did I don't remember what I did. Werkmeister 3? What did I do? Resume tuning. Kernberger 3. It's a rather early well temperament. And so I'm going through each key and describing the characteristics of it. I will post a link to this. I don't know. Does the key even matter? Get out of here. I'm going to keep going. A minor. Yes, all the keys are the daily key today. Today we're doing a special stream about well temperament. So I spent an hour and a half tuning. Feel free to go back and watch and hear my commentary and stories. And now I'm describing the characteristics that the historical composers all knew about when they were writing in different keys. So A minor, that was in A minor, is tender, plaintive, pious, womanly, graceful in character, capable of soothing. That may be why it was named for Elise. B flat major. I really hope you can hear the difference between this and what an equal temperament sounds like. So B flat major is joyful, quaint, cheerful, love, clear conscience, hopeful aspirations for the future and a better world, optimistic and able to take control in order to ensure peace. B flat minor. Terrible, the night, mocking, the garment of night, surly, blasphemous, turning away the world and the divine, preparations for the end. Pessimism and giving up, belief in darkness. B major. Harsh, strong, wild, rage, uncontrolled passions. You can hear it. It's so beating. Vibrating. The air around you is electric. Uncontrolled passions. Angry, jealous, fury, despair, burdened with negative energy. In a major key, by the way, prepared to fight. I don't believe you, Alex. I think you can hear it. B minor. Solitary, melancholic, patience. The key of patience, calmly waiting for fate, destiny, and the submission to providence and karma. Interesting. So let us go. I'm going to go online and find the Toccata in Fugue in D minor. And we're going to add that to my list because I don't know why I don't have it already. Let's hop over to our favorite imslp.org. We're going to type in Toccata and Fuga in D minore. No search. Toccata Bach D minor. Oh yeah, that one. Thanks. Toccata and Fugue in D minor. Ooh, we need to look at that original score, don't we? Open in a new tab. Let's go. I understand. I also understand it's about 400 years old. So there's no way it's copywritten. This is his original manuscript. Whatever the heck it is. Look at this beauty. I really hope you can see this. Bring that around. Look at that. You see that? You can. Awful glare from my camera. Toccata con fuga. X D sharp, it looks like. Okay. Squiggles mean something. J.S. Bach. Signature by Johann Sebastian Bach. That is inspirational. Let's see if I can read this manuscript. Look at that handwriting. It's immaculate. What is that? It's an alto clef. That's incredible. Ah, yes. I don't know how my student Bach reads that. I do not know. But that handwriting is perfection. But it's too much. I can't read it. Oh my God, it's in alto clef. Why is that in alto clef? That's bizarre. I'm going to save that for showing to my class on Monday. Alex, you get a little sneak peek, obviously. I cannot believe that. Can I just put that on my iPad? Yes, I can. Right into PS-Core with you. I wish this video was brought to you by PS-Core. Maybe they're watching and they would like to sponsor me. PS-Core is a lovely app that I love to use, and it makes doing all of this so much easier. It allows me to turn pages with my face. D minor, probably. Yeah. Well, right now it is. Alright, let's see what we got here. Can I read this? Let's see, what year? 18, let's see, 18 something. We want to get older editions so that we make sure we are within our copyright laws. I can read that. There's a pedal. Oh, because this is for organ. I was like, excuse me? There's a pedal? Yeah, it's written for organ. That makes sense. Can I arrange this for piano? For orchestra. For wind ensemble. Oh my God, for orchestra? That would be fun. For piano, please. For piano, please. For piano, please. For piano. For piano. 1840. I like that. 1840 sounds good to whoever's watching and enforcing the copyright laws. Yo, where'd you go? Yo, where'd you go? There she is. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Dang it, you're an idiot. That's not what I want. Okay, there we go. Different than the version I've already played before. the one that I played as a child was an arrangement. And during Halloween, my dad would make me play it on the piano, on this piano, in the house. So that was pretty funny. But yeah, I'm absolutely sight reading this edition. Where was I? Oh, did I flip back? Oh, where was I? Where was I? Part? No wonder I'm having trouble. Dagnabbit. Quickly falling apart here. ridiculous. You gotta be creating me. Yeah, okay. Come on, get out of there. Man, this is really long. I didn't know what I was getting into here. Holy crap. Pretend I outplayed that perfectly. That was incredible. Welcome to G minor land. Jesus. Didn't know what I was getting into. What the heck is that? I don't know. I'm just making this up. I don't know what that is. Let's get back. This is like, woo. Okay, lento. I like lento. Getting close to the end. Can't quit now. Circle of fifth progression. What the heck is that? Toccata and fuga in D minore, which was serious, pious, ruminating, melancholy, feminine, brooding worries, contemplation of negativity. That was intense. I started that off, I was like, oh yeah, I've played this before. I guess I played an arrangement, because that was intense. I think that's going to probably do it for me. I mean, I don't know what else I could play after that. I mean, after that, whew, I don't know. I was really going at that. That was fun. I'm looking at everything else and I'm like, nope. Nope, there's nothing else. Not after that. Well, folks, it's been a lot of fun. How long have we been going on here? Where are we at? My keyboard's off. It doesn't tell me right now, but it does tell me back here. Let's see. 150 minutes, whatever that means. Yeah, it's been 15 minutes. We're totally good. This has been a Saturday edition. The Saturday editions, we may step into the workshop. Again, I said it's really loud out there. I've got some Bitcoin miners running out there, which is why it's really loud. trying to refrain about talking about Bitcoin because it's a touchy subject with some people, but after that, I feel like letting anything fly right now. So, it's a little loud out in my garage, but I do have another workbench right here where I videoed some of my other videos, my produced videos. So I can bring stuff right in here into the calm and quiet of my air-conditioned house. We can do some of that stuff. You know what I need? I need my talking out music. That's what I need. It's a Saturday. It's been fun. It's been an exciting journey here. I just had the random idea to live stream my piano tuning. Look at that album cover. This is the first edition of the audio, so it may not be exactly right, so I'm going to go back to this one, but I just wanted to see that album cover. That was this. There you go. That's close enough. It's a little low quality, but that's okay. That's the Manatee River right there. That's my fishing spot. That was my drone picture. So anyway, we covered a lot of bases today. We talked about what I make as a piano tuner in a day. We tuned a piano together. Or really, I tuned and you watched or listened or didn't listen because there was like a couple people here and there and they were like, oh, he's tuning a piano. How boring. I said yesterday on my live stream, I'm going to have the most boring channel with 1 million followers one day. Today's not that day. Today it was just me tuning a piano. But it's okay. I'm pretty sure, I'm going to check. And Alex, if you want to check, feel free to check. I'm pretty sure this is the only live stream of a piano being tuned. And I know for a fact it's the only live stream of a piano being tuned into a well temperament. Anyway, it's been a lot of fun. We're having some fun here at Durenti's House of Music. Today I'm representing Durenti's Music Technical Services, my first business. I showed up. If you go back to the beginning, I did a little role play where I rang my own doorbell and I pretended that I was welcoming the piano tuner in. So go check that out. I don't know how, but I'm going to go through my live streams and clip out some funny moments and make some videos about those or using those. And especially some of the little things that I have, like my theory lessons, I'll clip those out, make separate videos for those so people don't have to sit through a 2-hour live stream just to get a little bit of theory here and there. So I'll do like a super cut or something. We'll see. We'll see how that all works. But it's been a lot of fun here. I'm enjoying the heck out of this live streaming thing. Oh, you know what we didn't do? Today in music history, but maybe that'll be a weekday thing. That'll definitely be a weekday thing because that means it's the end. That means it's time to go. This grumbling in my stomach means it's time to eat. So, from all of us here, just me, at Durenti's House of Music, I hope you have a lovely Saturday. Tomorrow is Sunday. I will not be live streaming. Come back for more on Monday. I will have daily music history updates. We may get some piano work done together. You can watch me do that. It'll be interesting. I really sincerely hope you had some fun. And I'll see you next time on Durenti's House of Music. I don't know how to turn this off. How do I turn this off?